Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and there's a paid request from bogzombee. Thank you so much for that. I very much appreciate it. Sorry about the wait. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Patreon and CashApp, but PayPal's usually the best way to do it. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. For those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. This is Ghost World from 2001, which is directed by Terry Zwigoff, which I definitely heard that name because he did this documentary that I barely remember, but it was Crumb about the underground cartoonist from especially way back in the day. But he also directed Bad Santa. I didn't realize the same guy directed Bad Santa, which I love Bad Santa, with Billy Bob Thornton. Very funny film. But Ghost World is based on a comic, which I never read. It stars Thor Birch. You also have Scarlett Johansson. You got Steve Buscemi. You got Brad Renfro. May he rest in peace. Bob Balaban, who plays Thor Birch's dad. I remember him from 2010, the year we made Contact. The sequel to 2001. Just he's the guy who created the HAL 9000. Pretty much the story is you have these two teens, Thor Birch and Scarlett Johansson. Yes, a very young Scarlett Johansson, way before Black Widow, and I know she's in the new Jurassic Park film they're making. Like, I care, because I don't think we need any more Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies. Stop it. Anyway. As for Steve Buscemi, he was in Armageddon, he was in Fargo, he was in Reservoir Dogs, been a lot of stuff. Anyway, Thor Birch, Scarlett Johansson, they're in high school, they graduate. Thor Birch has to go to summer school for art class. And I will say, I know I've seen this once before. I did not remember anything about it. Watch it again. It is what it is. Like, I don't hate the film, but I would never see it again. I know people really love the film. I get the idea. They're two teens. One of them doesn't grow up, doesn't know how to grow up, while the other does. As kind of Thor Birch's journey into growing up. And by the end of the film, in a way, she is kind of trying to move on, and perhaps into adulthood. But at the same time, for me, it falls a little bit flat because, in my eyes, she doesn't take responsibility really for anything that she did. At least in my... I'll get to that in a minute. Just a lot of times in the beginning, these are just two really bitchy, angsty, bitchy teens. I'm like, I don't want to watch that for 2 hours. I don't want to watch that in real life, level for 2 hours. And apparently I read an interview that Thor Birch felt the same way at first. Like, who would ever like this girl? Because apparently when she first saw it, she didn't like the film either. I know she changes her mind, but I don't know if I changed my mind. Because I did that's the point. I mean, they say lines like, wow, that band is so bad it's good, and then they're about to bad again. But, I mean, Thor Birch and Scarlett Johansson, I think they do nice enough job acting-wise. We do get to see a bit of Thor Birch's heart because they play a prank on Steve Buscemi, who has an add-in to meet someone. They prank call him. They wait in this diner, and he comes by, and he waits there forever. And, of course, no one comes, so they leave. She tells about how she kind of feels sorry for the guy. And, like, we see that they're, again, very bitchy, and they make fun of this couple who have umbrellas, and they keep thinking they're Satanists. Just because they're an old couple, and they look different from you, so automatically they're Satanists. But I get that's the point, is that they're not really that likable at first. Although I don't know if I liked them a whole lot by the end, but with the acting, it's like, it's more tolerable than anything. But you see Thor Birch kind of start to like Steve Buscemi, as she puts it. He's opposite of everything I hate. She buys a record from him. and then wants to keep hanging out with him. So she hangs out a lot less with Scarlett Johansson, who moves to an apartment thinking that Thora Birch is going to be a roommate with her, wondering when Thor's going to get a job. She gets a job at a coffee place. She wants to do different things. She mentions how she's tired of the weirdos and the creepos. And Thora Birch says, well, those are our people. And you tell Scarlett, it's like, are you serious? She doesn't say that, but you tell by her look. So it's a story about two friends and their diverging paths. You don't see a whole lot of Scarlett Johansson. Like, the way the poster makes it seem like it's each of their movie, but it's more Thora Birch's movie, and every once in a while Scarlett. So maybe it would have been nice to hear and see more of Scarlett's point of view. Like, we did a little bit of it, but it's definitely much more of Thora Birch's movie and her friendship with Steve Buscemi, which I definitely thought was the best part of the film. I think Steve Buscemi does a really good job. He's just a guy that likes to listen to old music and has just a simple job, and he has some unique tendencies, but nothing too offhand or weird. Like when people take too long to cross the road, he's like, well, you hypnotized? Why don't you have some more kids while you're at it? Which I thought that was kind of funny. I think Steve Buscemi does a good job. And you see how pretty much Thora Birch's characters slowly is trying to develop into adulthood, where she was kind of thought of as the ugly duckling, just the guys will always go for Scarlett's character. How kind of her sexual nature is developing because she's kind of developing feelings. Not kind of, she is developing feelings for Steve Buscemi's character. And even he mentions, you're a bit young for me. How she's going to help him get this date, but then when he does, she gets a bit jealous of it. And by the end, I get the idea that she's supposed to maybe move on to a better hope of adulthood, but at the same time, just that her behavior and the idea what they're doing, but it just, if there's a step for me liking her, there's 3 steps for this fucking girl. Because they did more into spoilers. She'll do stuff like she goes into a porno place with him, and you tell he's uncomfortable being there. It's like, hey, you got money? Buy this for me. I'm like, so you want this guy to buy you a damn? What you trying to find out is like look like Catwoman, but it's supposed to be like S&M garb. It's like a Catwoman mask. I'm like, so you want this guy to use his money to buy some of the porno shop for you after you begged and begged and begged, please, please, please? Or you want to pick on Brad Renfro, who works at a concession, a store. He's a clerk. Nag on him to give you a ride because you don't want to get yourself a damn ride. Then write stuff like, we came to fuck you, but you weren't here, so you're gay. Here's your note. And leave that note up. And Brad Renfro, he's a... I kind of wonder why he's even in the movie. Because you think his character's going to be like a bigger deal, but he's really not. He's kind of just the guy that gives him a ride at one point. And then there's this other guy, which I know this guy looked familiar. Actually, let me look real quick. There's this guy who I kind of wish he was in the movie more, because he's definitely a quirky character who comes in. Seems like a guy that would love a lot of NASCAR and takes his shirt off and messes with the convenience store owner. Dave Sheridan. That's why I recognize him. He was Officer Doofy in the first Steery movie. So when they did Steery movie in 2000, and then the parody of David Arquette's character, Dewey, They had a guy named Doofy, and this guy Dave Sheridan played him. Sally's not in it much. He's in it for maybe 2 scenes, if that. I kind of wish there was a bit more of him and Brad Renfro, and those characters were a bit developed more. I thought maybe like Brad Renfro maybe likes Thor Birch, but then Thor Birch wants Steve Buscemi, or I thought say something else would come about, but not much of anything does. So I don't know if that was stuff that was cut out or stuff that was just never meant to be. She also steals this artwork. Well, she doesn't steal. She borrows this artwork from Steve Buscemi, which is a very racist ad for a chicken place, which I'm not going to say the name. This was, this kind of made me laugh. The movie definitely is on PC at times, where Steve Buscemi, he collects art. So what happens is she's looking through it. She's like, "What's this?" It's like, "Oh yeah, that's something they threw out, and like this is what they used to be called, but of course they changed it. It was a chicken place, and it was COON, like chicken place, and it was like a guy looking like, I don't know, Black Chef Boyardee. I don't know how to put it." And so she borrows it, but she doesn't mention why she's borrowing it. And she uses it for her art class. Saying, yeah, this is a representation of racism and all this. And Ileana Douglas, who she was in Stir of Echoes, she's the one that hypnotizes Kevin Bacon in that. She's the art teacher and buys Thora Birch's bullshit story and says, okay, yeah, we'll put it into the show. So lo and behold, people get pissed. Which then, that goes back to Steve Buscemi, which he gets in trouble, pretty much gets fired. And that's the thing is, Thora Birch doesn't really take responsibility for anything. Like, she kind of has fights with Scarlett Johansson, but you only see that briefly. There's a point where she visits Steve Buscemi in a hospital and says she got in a fight with Scarlett Johansson, but we didn't see that fight. It seemed like it would be an important scene to show that fight. And at this point, Steve Buscemi's gotten fired. He, Scarlett Johansson tells him, "Oh yeah, we pranked you at one point, and looks at you as a fool." So he goes to a store. I don't know why he would try to confront Brad Renfro, because I don't even know if he even met Brad Renfro before, and for some reason thought like he was the thrust behind everything. You'd think he'd be more mad and yelling at Scarlett Johansson than Brad Renfro. I guess it's just there so that the other guy, Officer Doofy, puts him in a chokehold and then puts Steve Buscemi in the hospital. Granted, Thora Birch comes by and apologizes. And this is the one scene I did like, as she does apologize. Steve Buscemi shows her the book she was doodling in and making fun of him. It's like, did you not see the rest? And shows all the good pictures she drew of him. And she says, listen, I know I'm a total disappointment to everyone, but you're like my hero. So that's a nice scene, but she literally got drunk and kind of seduced Steve Buscemi into having sex. But then she wants nothing to do with Steve Buscemi when she was going after him the whole time. But now she wants nothing to do with him. Then she gets him fired. Screws up his life that by the end he's in fucking therapy. And it has to... Because it looked like he was living on his own, but now he's got to live with his mom, who you get a little hint that she's a bit overbearing. Apparently, I don't know if it was in the comic or the original script, he ended his own life? And they thought, oh, that's a bit too depressing. I'm like, you think so? So that means in one version of a film that I don't think it was filmed, but he was going. She led him to end his own life, and like she didn't do anything to fix the situation. She didn't uh, couldn't get his job. Like you screwed up his life because of your own mental fucktitude, you bitch. And then at the end, she's like, "That was her goodbye, Steve Buscemi." Tosses Scarlett Johansson for like 30 seconds, and she goes, "Okay, call me." And then this bus that apparently doesn't go there, but then I guess does go there, and this old man, which was like her last connection to the place, he finally leaves on this bus because apparently this bus does go to the spot, even though he was waiting there day after day after day after day. So why is it that the bus never passed by there all the time, but now it passes by there? I know there's talk that some people feel, well, actually, this means that's his pathway to death, and when she takes the bus, that means she ended her life. Apparently, the creator of the comic said, "What? No, that's not it at all." So I guess that's not what we're supposed to take from it. She never says bye or talks a whole lot with her dad, Bob Balaban, who seems like a decent guy. Doesn't seem like such an awful dad or anything. He seems decent. Says, "Hey, you want to go to college or stuff?" Or, "Hey, you just stay here and go to college?" Like normal things that a parent would ask. So she doesn't talk with her dad at all. She screws up Steve Buscemi's life. And yes, I get it. She said, "I'm a total disappointment to everybody," but you still fucked up his life. I can't really say I really gave a crap about Thora Birch's character. I know it's meant to be a comedy, but I didn't really find much that funny. So I would say I think Thora Birch and Scarlett Johansson does a decent job acting. Steve Buscemi I thought was the most likable character. The It was cool to have David Cross in there. Sally's only in like one or two scenes. I wish he was in it more. They're at a party of the two girls are at Steve Buscemi's party. And David Cross is like trying to hit on Scarlett Johansson and then trying to sit down on the couch and him while he's trying to do it. Just David Cross he did take a small part and make it pretty funny. Just like in Scary Movie 2. Well, that was a bigger part, but I think he's pretty funny in that. And even in that Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, like David Cross, it was fun to see him in that too. I like David Cross as a performer. What was it? He was in one of the Men in Black movies, like the second one. Or was it the third? I think the second one he was in. He was kind of fun in that. I think it was the second. Anyway, one of the sequels. 2 or 3, I can't remember. So it was nice to see him in there. But yeah, the rest of it, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just not for me. Maybe just the story isn't for me. Maybe I never read the comic, and maybe that's why. Maybe I need some context for that. I can appreciate how at times some of the dialogue was on PC with what was said. I did like when I know Terry Garr was in this, and she sadly passed away. I'm trying to remember who she was in the movie. Oh yeah, she was the new kind of stepmom because she liked Bob Balaban. And that's why she didn't want to stay at home because she didn't like Terry Garr. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. That's right. It's one of those things that you would think there'd be some kind of either talk or confrontation or dialogue between her and Terry Garr, and okay, what do you want to say about all this? And of course, Terry Garr just recently passed away. She passed away last month. Terry Garr was in. She was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. She was in Mr. Mom, Firstborn. You know, talented actress. Young Frankenstein, she was great in. But yeah, Sally passed away, which is too bad. So, yeah, I didn't want to forget that. I almost forgot. Yeah, she is in this. But she just doesn't have a whole lot to do, Sally. It's like, that's Terry Garr, and she doesn't have that many scenes in it, so... I guess maybe this just isn't for me. It is for a lot of people. It's a beloved movie. It just... I don't know. I can't really say I like Thora Birch's character, and that scene between her and Steve in the hospital was nice, but still, I guess I took it away where she's more running away from her problems than anything. I know it's meant that she's moving on and living her life, but to me, that she has no money. Where the hell is she going to go? If she can't... There's another scene where she gets a job working to such a movie theater, and she just acts so stupid, saying the dumbest things. So easily gets fired because she says constant stupid shit. I know at the end it's supposed to, I guess she's going to learn her lesson, but at the same time, I'll see it when I believe it. That's kind of my mentality with this character. Because if she took responsibility and helped Steve Buscemi get his life back on track, and she confronted her dad in like a mature level, that she's changed, and this is her feelings, and this is why she feels about Terry Garr, and why. And if her dad like slagged her off, or the one time she wanted to be serious about this, he didn't want to listen, then I could buy, okay, I tried. But it's like... Then try to get a job and keep it. Then try to be a roommate with Scarlett Johansson, and you could live whatever life you want. Or try... It's just... Her down the bus made me think she's just running away from her fucking problems, and she got a thumb up her ass, and her twat waffle to spread. I don't know. I just didn't give a rat's ass about her character at the end of the day. Maybe that's why. I guess really I don't give a shit what this character does in her life. She always screwed up Steve Buscemi's life. And with not a lot of repercussions to herself. I guess other than, well, she was going to get an art scholarship that she didn't fucking deserve. Because all she did was take Steve Buscemi's thing and put it there and come up with a BS answer. Then she was going to get a free ticket, free ride that she didn't deserve, so she got that ticket away. But that's the only repercussion she got. That's all. Like, that's pretty tame. She didn't get hurt. No one told her to go fuck herself. She said she had a fight with Scarlett Johansson, but we didn't see it. I don't know. If people liked it, that's cool. You know me, I'm hard to please. What can I say? Don't take whatever I say seriously. It's just my opinion. But thanks to bogzombee for the request. I know people don't be pissed at the review, but oh well. Shit happens. I mean, with independent films, like I said, it depends. I mean, I like Coen Brothers. I love The Big Lebowski. I love that film. I found that film hilarious. I love Clerks and Mallrats. I found those films hilarious. This one, not a whole lot that I found funny. There wasn't a whole lot of times I laughed at this. So, I just didn't get it. You didn't get it. I'm telling you, I didn't get it. You're right, I didn't get it. I didn't get it, but oh well. So that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys down the road. Bye-bye for now.